Welcome into episode number 118 of the About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, host Stefan Loeffler at Junkwax Twins, Ben Wilson at our Trading Cards, and I'm Tim Schepler at Big Shep 79. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors. I'm going to bring you a smart, insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
Central.
On YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We are available as a podcast everywhere. Check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. Happy International Podcast Day, everybody out in the podcast world. Yes. How are you guys doing?
It's a thing, somehow.
Yeah, we started like 6 years ago. But how are you guys doing tonight?
Great. Birthday went well. Family's somewhat healthy, and I can move on with the rest of the year.
Nice.
So are we going to sing happy birthday? I mean, I know it's 3 days late, but I think we should.
No, let's not. Let's not punish our listeners enough, because I might start. Let's get organized again. I had a crazy week. So after the show last Wednesday, Thursday morning, about 10 a.m., and there was a knock on my door, and it was a interviewer and a cameraman from a national TV station in Japan, and they hung out with me for the entire day. It's the channel that hosts all of the MLB games, and they like to do segments on Americans and things related to baseball. And it's supposed to be like a 5 to 6 minute segment, but we spent the whole day together. We did an interview in my card room here. We went to the card shop. We did something with my son. So it's supposed to air sometime in October, and I'm going to get a copy of it. I will definitely share it through the YouTube channel once I have it. And my voice will be dubbed over in Japanese, which I'm kind of excited for. I have a friend that speaks Japanese, so I'm going to have her listen to it to make sure they don't mess my words up. But it was really cool. I showed him how I buy cards online. So I did buy 2 cards for my collection. And I want to show they came this week. So the first one was a 1965 Topps Masanori Makamuri.
Sure.
He was the first Japanese baseball player to debut in the major leagues. He pitched for the Giants for 1 year. And then my second card that I picked up, and this is for my Giants team set. And the second card I picked up, I already have one, but this is for my personal collection, is Ichiro rookie, base rookie card. So I picked both of those up, and they said, hey, if we show the cards come in time, they might add it to the little interview. So there the cards are. I'm excited. And, it's funny. Brad was the interviewer. He asked me what I've been collecting lately, and I just had opened some Allen & Ginter, and I said, well, yeah, they have a mixture of baseball players and, personalities, and one of them is Derek Gould, a Major League Baseball reporter. It was, what? No, let me see that. It was, it's like one of my best friends. Hold on. He sits there, texts the guy, and says, hey, and I takes a picture, and this guy I'm interviewing has one of your baseball cards. And, so it was kind of cool. So I think I'm going to send off one of my extra ones and have him autograph it for me, and kind of a cool story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Eric from Teammates got some he didn't know he was going to be interviewed, but they spent some time with him. And we went around the shop, and I bought a box of Allen & Ginter and I had Eric pick it, and it happened to be a hot box of Allen & Ginter, and that's 2 years in a row I've had Eric pick me a box of Allen & Ginter, and both years, back-to-back years, it was a hot box. So I was pretty excited. Anyway, Ben, did you have an exciting week this week in collecting at all?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
we're going to get to it later in the show, huh?
So I went camping, which I loathe, but Heather doesn't, so I go and try to be a good supportive husband, and I don't like getting dirty, and Chronicles dropped, right? So we get home Sunday night, and there's 27 base cards smattered and scattered throughout Chronicles, and 8 AJ Pucks and 5 Sean Murphys, and so I get home Sunday night, and I'm tired, and I get on eBay, and I would like to think I'm a pretty well-informed collector, and I know what I'm looking for. And I type in Chronicles and a specific player like Luzardo, and I'm looking down the list, and I'm just I put my head in my hands, and Heather's like, "What's wrong, honey?" And I'm like, "I'm looking at baseball cards," and she goes, "Oh, I thought it was something important." And so I'm like, "Haha, touche."
Maybe
but as I'm looking through this, I'm like, all right, So on a scale of 1 to 10, if I'm close to 10 as far as an informed collector and my checklist is very deep and thorough, what happens to the average collector that goes and buys a box of this and doesn't really know what they're getting, right? It is such a cluster. And I got so frustrated. And again, I'm just going down the checklist. I'm typing in 2020 Chronicles Spectra Matt Chapman. And halfway through it, and again, I'm tired, so that probably played into it. But I'm just, what a frustrating and unnecessary product. And what sucks, Isolated, the Obsidian, gorgeous. Titanium, gorgeous. Some of them individually are just good-looking, unlicensed cards. So that's how my collecting week got started. I pray for anybody out there that chooses to open this and try to collect a portion of this. I had tweeted out this is a team collector's nightmare, and Chris Harris at Stale Gum had responded, you could take that word team out of that sentence and still be accurate.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I want to. Oh, go ahead, Steph.
With it being my birthday,
happy birthday!
I could not hear that. No. So naturally, we had a few card-related purchases that came through. Nothing super huge or anything. Still haven't broken my 100 per individual item. And yes, I broke a box of Diamond Kings. Best thing out of it was a Texas Alex Rodriguez card, dual relic. But I also got a good head start on my blanket set.
Nice.
So
those are cool.
I had about 6 of these, and I picked up 8 for just under about 13 each. So in addition to knocking off one of my favorite oddball sets, for the most part, naturally, Black Sock Chick Gandil. Before he was. This page left intentionally blank because, well, I'm not going to get any Walter Johnsons anytime soon. But I also I got some individual, because they have 2 colors per player, per team.
And you have to have them all.
Naturally. But, I mean, look at some of these actually look pretty sharp. And with that 18 bundle, I only ended up with 1 dupe.
So now, if you had PayPal ready and you hopped onto the eBay and you wanted a Walter Johnson, what would be the lowest price point to get a decent one?
Probably 60 to 100.
That's not bad.
This is maybe my sharpest.
Damn, that looks new.
Somewhat centered. The auction that I picked it up from called it minty because the green is pretty sharp. It's not really dark. It's a nice cream color, and compared to the other one. But this was also the one that I had a duplicate of, so you can tell which one I wanted to display.
Yeah. Well, I have some breaking news.
What's that?
Next week, we're going to have a guest with us.
We are.
Yes.
Is it Angela?
No. Good old Johnny P is going to stop in.
Nice.
Then we can learn how to say his last name correctly. So just calling him John P. But yeah, John is going to be live with us next week. So get all your questions ready, guys.
It'll
be fun because JP has got a lot of hockey knowledge. So as we've said before, it'll be nice finally to have somebody with some hockey knowledge on the show.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with his Blackhawks doing so well in the playoffs, that's right.
Black Sox.
About as good as your Wild. And your Twins.
We made it this year.
And the Vikings.
Yeah. I mean, the Vikings are all could almost be in first place if they were an NFC East team.
Indeed.
Yep. Let's get into it. The week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 133 had card 349, Alberto Mondesi, shortstop of the Royals, sold almost 1,800. Card 350, Corbin Burns. Not Corbin Benson, whatever the guy from LA Law in Major League. Pitcher, Milwaukee Brewers, sold just over 1,700. Yeah, so not great.
So I'll show you what Topps seems to have pulled down the website.
Who was Tops Living this week? I totally whiffed on it. I even looked at the email.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Make sure you check out Top Saving Stat for full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set by team and position. We also had 1920 Panini Chronicles Optic Basketball, which was like $7,000 a box. And then 2020 Panini Chronicles Baseballs. We talked about Ben's favorite product. Hot off the press is this week's new release. Topps Living Week 134, just for you, Ben. Card 351, DJ. I cheat at getting batting titles. LeMahieu, second baseman, New York Yankees. And card 352, Alec Mills, pitcher, Chicago Cubs. No rookies, no Hall of Famers. A guy that cheated his way into an NL batting title a few years ago by sitting out the last day to guarantee himself a batting title, which is so Bush League. I lost any respect I might have ever had for him that day.
Ted Williams did roll over in his grave, head and all.
Well, his frozen sarcophagus thing. And then Alec Mills was a longtime minor leaguer that came up and threw that no-no 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
So maybe they had to get the card made because we talked about getting him a Topps Living card. It would have been a great week. And then all of a sudden, boom, it did.
September 13th, 2020.
Yeah, so 17 days ago. So that's pretty awesome that he got one. I don't expect these to break 1,800. So we will see. Also out this week, 2020 Topps Baseball Complete Set dropped today. You're going to see hobby around $100. I've seen retail around $60. The 700 card base set. You will find it's the 350 cards from Series 1 and 350 from Series 2. No updates are included. Update does not have a factory set. There will be, if you find the hobby version, you are going to find 5 foil parallels in the box. There's also retail versions with different bonus cards. And there's also ones with 5 rookie variation cards. And so Aquino, Bichette, Alvarez, Lux, and Robert all are going to have variations in those. And then there are also some random retail sets from Target that are out there where every card's numbered out of $299. So that's very interesting. We'll see what happens there. Montgomery Club is going to have their release at some point this year where all the members there will get a factory set as well. And then there's, so there's variations of things popping out. So there's no All-Star Edition. There wasn't any really information about all the retail sets that are coming out. They usually have 2 or 3 every year. So hit up your local Targets, Walmarts, Fred Meyer.
Well, this was the thing that they used to do with blasters where, Target got red color, but you also got an extra pack, but Walmart got blue border, and you got an extra pack specific to those retail locations. I
miss those.
I do kind of like, I guess Walgreens, Toys R Us used to have this. But also, I do like that, at least for the factories, that they're kind of bringing back in. The Target gets the rare extra chrome card, and Walmart, you get just the plain 5 rookie variation.
Yeah, so check those out. I know I'll be picking one up to stash away. Also this week, 2020 Panini Origins Football, or as I like to call it, Topps Inception. $300 a pack. Per box, 1 pack per box, 7 cards per pack. You're getting 1 autograph patch card, 1 additional autograph, 1 jumbo memorabilia or patch card, 2 parallels, and 2 base cards. It's a 141 card set, 90 veteran base cards. Origins is they have one insert. Origin of Greatness is a short print subset highlighting the early years of the top 10 players. Those are 1 per case, so basically a case hit. You're going to have the rookie autographs are going to be on card. A couple of the booklets have hits with multiple players. So there's rookie stars dual patch signatures that have autographs and jumbo swatches, and then 6-star signature booklets. And then the Origins of Greatness is one of the multi-swatch inserts. It pairs up a current player with a legend from the same franchise. So like I saw one was Brian Westbrook, there you go, and Miles Sanders. So 2 running backs from the Eagles. But I always like Origins. I guess Inception is it looks identical. It's almost the same card stock. But it's a good looking card. But $300, dude, for 7 cards. Good Lord. Better hit that Joe Burrow.
Better hope so.
Yeah, get that Joey B.
Yeah.
How's he doing this year?
You know, they're 0-3, but he has played his tail off.
He's
Okay.
looked pretty good.
Yeah, they've been in
Yeah.
close games. One went to overtime. What was that, week 1? He's looked really good. They just quite haven't figured it all out, but you know, I think he's got a bright future in him. We saw Justin Herbert; he's played well with Tyrod Taylor being out. So, you know, exciting times in the NFL. It's all about the quarterbacks. So make sure you check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on his new releases. Just the 2 this week, and only really 1. Now, as we get into what's brewing next week's releases, there is a lot listed here. I doubt all of this comes out, but I think they're trying to get this in. Their quarter might end this upcoming Friday, right? Yeah.
Well, the quarter
So they
ends
might-
today, so it
Well,
depends on when their fiscal cutoff is.
Yeah, so it might be a little different on these guys. So there's a lot on this list. We'll get to. We have 2020 Topps Triple Threads Baseball, 2020 Topps Heritage Minor League Baseball, 2021 Topps NHL Sticker Collection, 1920 Upper Deck Premier Hockey, 2020 Absolute Football, 2020 Panini National Treasures Collegiate Football, and 2020 Spectra Football. That's 3 football releases from Panini. I doubt all those come out. And Premier's been shoved around a bunch, so we'll see if that still comes out. But if not, we're gonna have a busy week next week with new releases. Infield chatter, our hobby talk section part of the show. Get out and vote. I did not bring this topic up last week because of the fun discussions we've had in the past on this. Voting is closed, so you no longer can vote. But get out and vote for the Topps 2021 card number 1. Now, these were your options. We had 20 or so. We had Tatis Jr., Mike Trout, Bo Bichette, Mookie Betts, Garrett Cole, Cody Bellinger, Javier Baez, Jacob deGrom, Juan Soto, Luis Robert, Rafael Devers, Ronald Acuna, Francisco Lindor, Nolan Arenado, Alex Bregman, Kristen Yelich, Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, and John Flaherty. So the one name that kind of sticks out there is John Flaherty. Like, he's a decent pitcher, right? But kind of an odd name to list on all these other names that are, you know, pretty hot in collecting. I mean, Jacob deGrom, I guess people don't really collect pitchers. Garrett Cole. I voted for Trout. Trout should always be number 1 until he retires. In my mind at this point, who did you guys vote for? Who would you voted for?
So, given the options, I went with Arenado. Not because he's necessarily the most deserving, because personally I think it should be the World Series winner, just me, or a league leader of some sort.
Record breakers.
Record breaker, sure. But one, the website's down, so we can't really show you even the preview images. But I thought, you know, the Yankees are way overrepresented in the top of that. The Dodgers, Cubs, Indians, whatnots, and, you know, who really are the Rockies? And Arenado's had a pretty solid career, I would say. I don't think you guys could disagree. Otherwise, I probably would have picked Trout.
Who'd you pick, Ben?
You know, we all agree that it should be the World Series winner, some kind of throwback to the 60s, 70s. Releases where the first 10 cards are reserved for league leaders, record breakers, all that fun stuff before you get into the meat and potatoes of the players. I agree Trout should probably indefinitely be number 1 till he hangs him up. I actually voted for the best looking card. You know, I thought Tatis also, you know, was an option just because you're kind of changing of the guard. Hot, young, exciting player that very well might eclipse Trout in the next year or 2 as the best player in the game. But that Acuna card, where he's sliding, he's kind of airborne, looking like a Superman. I thought if you binder this set and you open up the binder, that first card, first thing you're going to look at, and just the image that they chose for that card is by far and away the best image, in my opinion. And that's why I voted for it. At the end of the day, I really don't care because they never have an Oakland A anyway.
Yeah, since we've talked about this, they've never listed an A or a Royal or even a Twin. So I voted, yeah. Who do you guys think it will be?
I did notice they took away the option to have your own write-in answer this year.
Yeah,
Probably just a mess.
I totally would have wrote Bartolo Colon again for the third year in a row. To answer your question, one, so check this out, because I was trying to find some of the preview images to at least show that. 2021 Topps card number 1 poll, right? Cardboard Connection, sure. Beckett, sure. Couple images, great. Topps.com, Topps.com. Go down a couple. Hey, look, that's up.
there we go.
But no, I think Trout probably edges out the rest of the crew.
Yeah,
It's going to be thick. A close race between Trout and probably Tatis, just because he's in line to get the handoff, whether somebody else eclipses him or not, barring an injury. So I think we're going to see Trout or Tatis, honestly.
yeah, because in 19 Acuna was number 1, and he won that poll, and after his breakout year in 18. So just always a fun argument between all of us. There was a retirement this week. Alex Gordon retired after 14 seasons, and I'll bring it up just because he's a Royal.
Who?
Yes, All-Star outfielder Alex Gordon. He had one of the most chased rookie cards of all time. Sue's, back when she worked for Beckett in 2013, wrote an article about his rookie card in the craziness that was behind it. Gordon was one of the top prospects in the Royals system in 2006, but that wasn't what got people to take notice. It was a baseball card. His card was accidentally released in the 2006 Topps set, card number 297. It shouldn't have been there. Under the new Major League Baseball Association rule, Players Association rules, Gordon was not allowed a rookie card yet because he was not on the Royals 25-man roster. So there are 4 versions of this card. There's the full card, which goes for around $600. There's a cutout version, which has all the picture cut out, and that's around $100. There is a blank card that just shows the gold foil, and that runs around $80. And supposedly there's a blank silver, and I could not find one for sale. But the most popular one is the full portrait card with his name on the front and back, and the legit card. So that's one card I'd love to have. But $600, it's Alex Gordon. It's like, yeah, maybe back in the day when we thought everybody thought he was going to be the next George Brett when they had him playing third. He was the number 2 pick in the draft. He was the Golden Spikes winner coming out of Nebraska. He was all this stuff, and he had a decent career. He just never was truly the transcendent player we all thought that he could be, or thought they were going to be. So again, prospecting, you take your lumps. Yeah, there's the cutout card. And so these were packs. I mean, you can still see 2006 packs going for crazy amounts because of this. So, but Steph, do you remember this? Because I don't think Ben and I were collecting heavily at this point in time.
This was right around the time that I was starting to get back into the hobby. I do remember the chase around it, and more specifically 2007's Jeter / Mantle.
Yep.
It was really like the first short print super chase, and it kind of brought this guy isn't out yet, but you have to search it down back to the hobby. I would think, because I mean, post strike, my cards kind of went in a low year, and memorabilia and autographs kind of brought some people back, but I wouldn't say that before either this or 07, 08, Strasburg, even Harper, that there wasn't really a huge draw.
Yeah.
And that probably reflects that the prices, just because allegedly you could only find these in blasters in certain regions, and even then it was blasters from certain stores. It's one of the all-time what the hell happened here stories.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like there to be somebody that had some hobby knowledge back. Like, write a book about some of this stuff. I think it'd be great to hear. Not that anybody would be truthful. So
speaking of books, I did get Wax Pack as part of my presents. The guy who wrote the book on, I want to say 86 Topps, where he went down and searched down the athletes.
Yeah,
and discussed their history.
Yeah, I have it right up here. Wax pack right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
Was kind of disappointed that the actual cover didn't really feel waxy. Maybe ours was just the second printing where it felt more glossy, but I'm looking forward to starting to read it.
Yeah, it's good. I just need to get more time to read it. I've started it, but it just
Think that.
at the end of the day, I'm just like done. Speaking of being done, good lord, because could there be a bit bigger kerfuffle than Topps 2020 Topps Chrome Sapphire? So we're gonna get into this. So Topps Chrome Sapphire was the premium version of 2020 Topps, and it's slated to return as an exclusive online to the Topps website. This is a story from Ryan Cracknell. The main set covers all 700 cards from the flagship release. Cards carry the general same layout. However, they're done with the chrome stock, and they're going to have some kind of a cracked ice pattern in the background, like in the past years. Sapphire goes on sale for Montgomery Club members. It was yesterday, and members were limited to 2 boxes at $300 a piece. Topps is also going to do a raffle, general public, to purchase those boxes, and you have to enter into your Topps account, and you click the link, and you get through there. And that ended today at 9 o'clock Pacific, noon Eastern. For those who get picked, well, first crack the boxes, and they may run out before everyone selects to buy. Raffle runners will have the limit to buy one box. So, not what happened. So yesterday, at some point, Topps was hacked. Brother Tona on Twitter said, according to the blowout forums, the Topps site got hacked, which is why there wasn't enough boxes for the Montgomery Club people to buy. People were able to go in and buy 20 boxes, like a bunch of boxes, able to put down a 20% discount code and order all of these boxes. Now, it came from what later in some of the comments was from some Discord group, and Flip _ what was it, family tweeted out, like, if you're in the Discord group, they were showing you how to cheat the system at Topps. Now, Topps figured this out and put everything kind of on hold because other people that were invited, I think most everybody I saw on Twitter today that said they were selected and they went to buy a box immediately said it was sold out. And supposedly Topps had put it on pause to go back and fix all the fraudulent orders and reset the inventory numbers. Now, I did not sign up in time for this raffle. I won the other two. I missed out on this one. But what a kerfuffle! Our buddy Bean tweets out, it's horse shit that as a club member they were, quote, sold out when I got in yesterday. Then I was not allowed to enter the lottery. FU Topps. So some got shut out. The non-members had access. The site got hacked. People were backdoored into tons, from what I've heard, is what somebody else tweeted out. So just a lot of blunders and errors on this. 77 Cloth here said it sold out in a little over an hour. Yeah, I bet. But also, too, the Montgomery people got hit hard. So
in addition to follow up, because this guy hasn't closed out his post, wonder who leaked it to. We find the rat, and you dumbass for this post just for clout. Use your headband.
Yeah.
You weren't going to get the
stuff.
order. I'm sorry. No. Topps is going to notice it. Anybody from a certain time frame, they can go and pull the transaction logs. They can see who applied a discount code, and they're not going to ship you it.
Yeah.
They're not stupid. They can figure it out.
Well,
and second of all, dude, charge your phone.
From what I understand too, that there were people that got their Ben Baller shipments canceled because it was the same address, right? So, as a collector, if I'm chasing this product, and I love Sapphire, I think that Sapphire is one of the most beautiful products. When it used to be the blue, we've talked about this in the past when it had that blue crack on it. But if I wanted to buy 3 boxes and I won the raffle, and my dad bought one, and Heather bought one, and I bought one, and we all share the same address, it's knuckleheads like this that ruin it for people like myself. And I'm not saying that I'm going to do that because I'm not. But if I wanted to, we have, and it would be legitimate. We wouldn't be looking to flip it at that point. We'd be looking to open it. But when you're doing something like this, where you're hacking the website and then you're bragging about it openly, yeah, Topps is going to cancel anything that looks suspicious. But to Bean's point, you're raffling it off to non-Montgomery Club members, and these people are having an opportunity to win, and that's in response to what I had posted. If you're watching, it was my initial tweet to say that I had won the raffle and made the purchase. And what a mess, because every time I clicked on it, it kept saying, "Oh, you're too late, and I just happened to be in my email and said, "Screw it, I'll just click on it one more time before I delete the email." And it took me to my cart to make a purchase. And then Bean's like, "Hey, as a Montgomery member, I don't get to buy." And it's like, man, that's not fair, right? Why would you re-up with that club next year? If, we saw that happen with the Finest Flashbacks, where you were allowed 3 boxes, and then some members got 0, and then they're told, well, you can buy 2, but it was already open to the public for other people. And it's like, wait a minute, where's my 3? And you're saying now I can only buy 2 when Joe Random's not a member and they got 2. That's not fair.
Well, and exactly. I mean, because otherwise, what's the point of paying the hundreds a year to get into this exclusive club
Correct.
if you're not getting exclusive benefits?
Yeah, if you're not getting the perk, then where's the incentive? And when you open it up next year, we're going to look at you and laugh and say, you can kiss our ass. We'll take our chances on the secondary.
To go if I wanted to lose money and not get anything.
Yeah, I'll just get divorced again.
And what's funny is my bin baller box did not ship until like 4 days ago.
Yep.
And I called him and I told you about this, and it's finally on its way. It's here. I actually sold it to somebody, and I explained to him, hey, I don't physically have it, and the person trusts me enough to give the money, but I have not yet moved the money or spent any of the money from my PayPal account. Just going to sit there until I physically get this box in my hands.
Yeah, mine's not supposed to be here until next week.
Yeah,
I got the money within minutes of because of who I sold it to.
Yeah.
And, I bought a Chrome Sapphire, and I extended the same offer to them. They say, hey, if you want to buy it from me, be more than happy. But yeah,
so you're living that flip life, Ben? Look at you, bro.
Twice. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go to Walmart and clear a shelf, but
no. But this is dumb, easy money. I mean, these boxes are ridiculous.
But it's one of those things too that if I'm selling to, because Uncle Rich called me on that, he goes, basically, isn't this what you talk out against? And I'm like, there's a difference between, at least in my mind, when you're going to Walmart and standing like one of 10 dudes, and you're chasing this person around town, going city to city, even crossing state lines, following a vendor, versus, hey, I got an opportunity to win 1 box of cards, and I can flip it to somebody who's going to rip it open and give me the A's out of it as part of the deal, and they're going to just cover my hard costs. I mean, you'd be stupid not to if you have that opportunity.
Yeah. No, so real quick, we did have somebody tweet in that said, it's focus the frame. Tell Tim DJ LeMay was sitting, was a manager's decision that day, not his. Still, who the manager was Bud Black, wasn't it? Or was it Walt Weiss? No, it was Walt Weiss then. Yeah, that tells you something. Just leave it there. Former A, just anything to do to win.
Say what you will about Walt, but at least he has quite possibly one of the nicest Topps cards.
Yeah.
I'm reading through here. Foul 5 Ball says the manager at my local Walmart buys all the retail and flips that he was bragging at my LCS and said I could get blasters from him for 40. Yeah, turn his ass in real quick.
Having said that, any guess on your Ben?
On what, the 91 Topps?
No, I was going to say just Walt Weiss is having one of Topps' nicest cards.
Yeah, the 91 Topps.
Indeed.
Isn't that Joel Skinner card, though?
show action.
It would have been as a kid. If I was an Indians fan, I would have been required by parental law to collect that, as I was, the Upper Deck Kirby Puckett that had McGuire in it. And
You mean the McGuire that Kirby Puckett?
correct. And it was mislabeled with a false Hall of Famer on it.
They should reverse the Hall of Fame decision on those two.
But yeah, this 91 Tops was really the first Stadium Club-esque. We've talked
Yeah.
about that in the past too. It was such a
Yeah.
great Benito Santiago, Roger Clemens, some
Wade
phenomenal.
Boggs.
Yeah, just some great pictures.
Yeah. So living that flip life, speaking of that, David Caparino on TikTok posted a video being like at a Walmart, and he had some Pokemon Championship thing. He had some Allen and Ginter in his cart, and he's like, hey, TikTok, I need to know if these are worth anything, if they're worth any money. Well, obviously they're worth money, dum-dum, but he was looking to flip them. And so we just have unknowledgeable people now just out just grabbing any kind of sports card, any kind of physical trading card.
Are these worth anything? Is this worth any type of money, these cards here? And what about these for Champions Pass? Should I buy them all or what? TikTok, I need your help right now.
Just
If you're a grown ass man on TikTok, get off, dude. You're not a 14-year-old girl. Just cut it out. Second off, if you have,
by the way, some of the best TikToks are made by Dub.
Dub's been on a roll. I will say this. Right now, if Dub ran for president,
He had one where Ken Herbeck was stalking him. I
He
think
did.
I sent it to you guys.
and he came out of the closet, and another one.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you're a grown ass man, stay off TikTok. Second off, if you have to ask anybody, I don't care what platform you're on, if you have to ask somebody, like literally, he's like, is there any money here? Yeah, the $20 your ass is about to save by not buying it. Put that in a savings account with compounding interest, and maybe your ass will actually make some money, dum-dum.
I watched this for the first time, and I swear, I hope it was parody, satire, because just the way he asked is like, "Hey guys, is any of this worth anything?" I mean, just look, I got like the most generic products here. Yeah, be serious, dude. Come on.
It didn't even cross my mind when I clicked on it that it possibly could have been satire. And maybe it was. Now, we know our good buddy Dub, and we know how above and over the top he's been with his videos recently.
Yep.
And mocking the hobby. But that's a guy that we know. We don't know this guy, so my first thought was this is just the state of the hobby. And if it was satire, hey, bravo. Well done, my friend. Well done. But to me, it's just the state of the hobby summed up. I posted a picture that I don't think that we're going to talk about, but it was on somebody's somebody's Facebook post about what they're selling, and it was literally 7 Walmart's worth of product. And our good buddy Ben Aguirre and Nick Vosbrink, they both got into it, and the three of us are going back and forth. And basically the consensus was it's just another day in the hobby, another picture. Don't flaunt your stuff. It's like if he had just said, hey, I've got multiples of the following products in text only. I've got Chronicles and Mosaic, etc. You're not pissing off your potential consumer. And now I can DM you privately and say, hey, Tim, how many Mosaic blasters do you have? Oh, I have 20. Now I have an opportunity to negotiate a price with you. And Steph has no idea that his Walmart got pillaged by this. It's bad optics. And like this guy, come on, don't be a knucklehead.
I'm just telling
if you have
you
to
guys
ask, don't buy it.
I'm telling you guys right now, wait till November. There will be people murdering each other for prison blasters.
Oh yeah,
Football and basketball. So,
well, and it just seemed funny that at least if you go to the Onion or Babylon Bee, you know what you're getting. But it's the state of the hobby that we don't know whether this guy is legit just making commentary or if he's legitimately asking for Allen Ginter, can I make money off of this? Dude, it's Allen Ginter. Come on.
But he does, and again, if you don't know, you shouldn't be buying. I will be the first person to admit how, uneducated I am when it comes to car maintenance and mechanics. That is not my area of expertise. So if this were to happen in that industry, I'm not going to go into an O'Reilly's and go, hey, is this torque wrench worth money? And then people are like, first off, dummy, that's an Allen wrench. Like,
I've always heard it called
Well, and that's it. I was always told, don't go into buying anything unless you know exactly what it is and it's exactly what you want, because you don't want to end up with a 1998 Geo Metro. But at the same time, do your homework.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, the guy's reaching out and asking, allegedly, maybe he's asking TikTok, but dude, do some basic research to stop wasting your money.
Well, and here's the thing: if I had saw that live, my first response, because of call me an asshole, call me a dick, call me whatever, the sarcastic side of me is going to be like, yeah, man, buy all the Allen and Ginter you want. That's got 3x multiplier. And then if that guy's being serious and I'm the only response, I just buried this dude because of his naivete and or ignorance. Again, don't stand in the retailer asking for, come on, TikTok, I need your help right now. And what if you only get one response and it's some jackboo like me, some chucklehead trying to be funny, and next thing you know, you've blown $300. And I mean, you get what you get.
Yeah.
But,
So on a brighter note about Allen & Ginter, I was able to complete the full base set and short prints and all the regular sized inserts this week from a bunch of great collectors, especially cards from Dave. For Dave, he helped out quite a bit. And this is the first time I've ever done that with a set where I've done all of the inserts as well. And I had so close on so many, I figured might as well do it. So yeah.
Yep. But no, and one, that's great, because I know, at least for Diamond Kings, how nice it is to slide in that last insert, the hard to chase down mini or what have you. I think that's your next step, is obviously to chase down the minis. Even a base set, chasing those down either via trade or by breaking 3 boxes, it's a nice touch. And you should have shared the final slide-in video.
Oh, I will. I haven't gotten all the cards yet.
Good.
They're coming via trade, and the last couple of inserts I picked up for 20 cents on Sport Lots. So
that going back to an old topic we talked about when Steph completed his set but didn't really complete his set. You need to slow the slide in when you're about 4 cards short. Just, this is complete because they're in the mail. I plan on getting this one next week.
Okay,
so when I get paid, the set's going to be complete because,
there's no super short print in base.
I saw today there was a really good screenshot or a really good promo for the About the Cards podcast that showed one of the hosts is the Hobby Encyclopedia. Mm-hmm. And now this guy doesn't even know that a complete set is all 400 cards.
There was a mistake.
Not 398.
There was a mistake on that, and Mike Summer fixed it for us. Ben, did you see the correction on it?
I did not, but if Mike Summer fixed it, I don't even want to know what it was.
It said economic nerd underneath your name, and he just scratched out economics, and it just said nerd, and he goes, now it's right. So, yeah. Speaking of Mike, he put up this great tweet.
The Mike Summer brought to you by Hair for Men.
Oh, hymns. By the way, you're part of the Hair Club for Men, right?
Look at Michael. I ain't got no problem being a nerd. I've told you about, hey.
By the way, isn't that a nice looking graphic?
It is a fantastic graphic.
I mean, it's a little jaggy on my name, but that's not something we can touch up and post.
I like it. It's crooked. Just kind of like your ability to count to 400 for a complete set. You stop at 399. You're just a little sideways.
Okay, so first of all, 2020 Donors had 270 cards.
So back to Mike. He talked about holding the bag. He said, I will take the guaranteed profits of turning pennies into quarters with base and inserts over the risky artificial scarcity of modern slabs any day. Don't get caught holding the bag. Yeah, slabs. If that's all you're talking about is your slabs and your, prospects that are 12 years old that don't have any facial hair. Yeah, you might have some gold there. But again, we just talked about Alex Gordon. He was the Golden Spikes when he was the number 2 pick overall. He had a couple All-Star games, a couple Gold Gloves. But if you look outside of that Air card, none of his cards are, even his first Bowman autograph, I want to say even a graded like 9.5/10 is less than, say, $60 right now. And all of these people spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Dominguez and, what's the kid down, Byron Laura that was in Chrome.
Mauricio.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea if they're going to be any good, if they're ever going to make it to the majors.
I was going to hop in on Mike's because this obviously is in my wheelhouse as a, scratched out nerd. But this is Mike's fight, and I didn't want to get into his conversation and try to piggyback. And I was working hard today and I didn't want the headache. But it really is poignant, right? I mean, Mike, he puts a little bit of money in and, over time, you're going to get your money back. And you're going to get a lot of money back because a lot of these cards he has less than, his vested monetary amount is less than a penny per card. And if he's selling them at 18 cents, people are thinking thousands of dollars to make thousands of dollars. He's thinking pennies to make quarters. And over time, that that's going to add up. And
well, it's got
you put that in the right savings account over time with compounding interest. I mean, it's gonna do well for itself. I mean, yeah, it's not gonna get you rich overnight, but he's gonna be able to take his wife on a nice little cruise someday. And it's not.
Well, it's also taking the spot to have an actual physical brick and mortar location. With his card shop within a card shop, he's kind of has a unique opportunity there, and we talked a lot about that before it happened. And I think it's pretty awesome what he's done, from just doing sales online to doing card shows, then doing this. It's kind of built up the business and where it is, and now he has something to do if he wants to be greater. After he retires from his day-to-day job. So,
and for anybody out there that doesn't know his backstory, he only got back into the hobby in 2016.
Yeah.
And to be where he's at, if that's the avenue that you want to go, and I've tweeted out this a couple of times recently, I have to remind myself constantly that for Ben, I enjoy this being a hobby. And I think I would be extremely successful like Mike has if I ever decided to go that direction. For me, it's not the right decision in my life right now. For him, it's a different decision. And maybe I change course in 5 years and decide. I've had this conversation with Mike in private about what it would take to get started on a massive scale on sport lots. And for me, it's that, you're trading your time, your life for what? And is that worth it? For Mike, yes. For Ben right now, no. If you want to go that direction, Mike's a great resource. But, it's also a lot of hard work. But he's also doing it the right way, building a foundation that will be around 2 years from now if this bubble bursts to the point where, you're left holding the bag and you got all these blasters and slabs and no buyers.
Yeah. Or they bust, right? Or they bust. And hey, and Carl, I miss the old theme music too, buddy. That you know what? We might have to bring that back on a retro podcast. We might have to bring it back one last time. So no, I thought it was just a good question, and it's pretty smart. I also like this one. Collector description. Our buddy at KBO Collections on Twitter. What is something that describes you as a collector? I'll start. I like to open boxes and packs, even though I know it's a complete waste of money, because it's fun to open stuff. Steph, what would you say is your description of a collector? Oh, they're right on top. Knowledge, obsessive, collector, seeks, wait, wrong side.
Knowing how to count to 270.
Yeah. No, what would you say would describe you in like a real quick sentence?
No, he's not wrong, but I would just say the drive to add to your collection, whether it's finishing a set, whether it's finishing a player's collection off, whether it's having all 280 different 1988 Donruss parallels, error variations, 1991 tops, all 4,600 some odd cards or some crap. Just that drive to finish it off and the obsessive collectability of it all.
What about you, Benjamin?
Collecting is like a puzzle, right? And you're never going to complete this puzzle because there's just too many pieces to collect. If you're collecting, that's the key word, right? I'm collecting it. It means I want it. I want more of it, depending on what
you're obsessive ace collector.
Right. But depending on what your definition is, if you're collecting complete sets, if you're collecting specific players.
What does best describe? He's asking what best describes you as a collector.
Yeah, I mean, that desire to want to complete certain aspects.
Yeah.
And the other issue, there's nothing wrong with changing your PC, but it frustrates me as a third party when people there's literally a guy on Facebook who PCs Jesus Luzardo, but then he lists Jesus Luzardo cards every day for sale. So it's like, what is it? Do you PC him, or do you sell his stuff? Because
you speculate on
it. There's no. He goes, I love collecting him. No, you like accumulating his stuff, and then you like selling it for profit when there's a spike and his cards appreciate. And there's nothing wrong with that. But don't say you're collecting them.
Well, last year I was PCing Pete Alonso. This year I'm PCing Luis Robert.
Yeah, who are you PCing next year? You don't know. Check back in March.
Yes. I would say I'm like an obsessive completist. I mean, if you look over to the binder wall over here, let's see if I can get it. Right. All those complete sets, and then working on my Giants and Royals team sets, and my George Brett, my Posey stuff, and my Garrett Hampson. It's like driving me crazy because I can't find some Hampson cards. If
we did a family tree of sorts, right? We're all familiar with the family tree that we had to put together in the 5th grade. Mm-hmm. If we had a collector tree, I think the amount of branches are, 7 million wide, right? I mean, but the thing is, I don't think that we're very far away from the center of the tree, regardless of what branch we're on. I think for people who we would say, and I know that the word true collector bothers some people, but people that really are collecting for the love of the hobby and will be around 5 years from now when the economic boom that we're seeing right now is gone, in theory. We'll still be around 5 years from now, 10 years from now, God willing, that our heart is still beating. But I don't think that, even though we all choose to collect a little different, I think that we're really close on that tree. I don't think those branches are very long, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is it's kind of like mind your own plate. Accept others collect differently from you, and don't get mad and upset, how they collect versus how you collect. I mean,
unless you're putting tape on top loaders.
Yes, no, you can't do that. That's like a sin. But CA Sports Cards says I collect Tony Gwynn, but I sell the extras to buy cards I don't have. That's awesome. If you I have Bretts that I've only let a handful of Bretts leave my collection. One went to Ben. A 79 tops went to Ben. I've hooked up another Brett collector with a couple, and then my Waxtopia, like my long lost brother. There's a couple Bretts that came my way that he didn't have that were all like one of his oh God, I need to have this Brett at some time, and I was able to get some, and so I moved them on to him as well. And so that's really, I could tell you where my George Bretts have gone. But like other stuff, like if I had extra posies or something like that, then I could let them go to somebody else to help them out as well.
For what it's worth, John's actually pretty solid in shooting games. We've been staying up late playing Left 4 Dead and can handle himself. In addition to his Royals collection.
What's that got to do with nothing?
Well, and I just by the way, I've been so bored lately. I downloaded GTA 5 on my Xbox One, so that's been fun to replay.
You know,
I screen minimized and I saw the icon in the corner, and it's like
I'm gonna start a Twitch account.
Steph is like so far off the reservation. Hey guys, this morning for my boss texted me. He's like, "You want anything from the donut shop?" And I was like, "Nah," but he brought in donuts anyway. So now you guys know that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steph.
As we move on here, anyway, my point was on that. It's just like I know we get on people for like iCollects. Those guys are just kind of in it to speculate and see where they go. Let's be honest. Nobody truly has a reason to collect Jason Dominguez unless they think that he's going to make them money in the future. Okay? Unless it's his mom or your cousin or you grew up with them, or your cousin once went on a date with them or something to that effect, right? Like, okay, that might be you have a personal connection to the guy. There's no other reason people are collecting him other than monetary value, which is fine. But again, it's accumulation to speculate that that's going to make you money in the future.
Yeah, you're not collecting it. Yeah.
I see. I like to collect rookie cards of guys. I don't care about second or third year cards of most players, unless it's Brett or Posey or Garrett Hansen. Like the rest of those, all I sell or trade or do whatever else. But if it's rookie cards, I mass accumulate rookie cards just because as a kid, I loved rookie cards. And the more rookie cards I can get, the better. And if they're all-stars and stars, then, and veterans and Hall of Famers, I love that. So anyway, there's our buddy here, Joe Lowry on Twitter, said double print. Do you guys, I don't think you guys have talked about it. Topps sent out a redone Topps Now Summer Camp cards from waves 2 and 3 with rookie cards on them that were missing them from the original print run. So rookie cards now have a double print numbers. So wave 1 had a print run of 36-28 with no rookie card logo issues. So they all had their rookie cards on them. Wave 2 had 1362, and Sean from the I forget his last name, but from the Blue Jays has a rookie card in the original run, but Luis Robert, Zach Gallen, and Tony Gosselin were missing it, and they resent them with updates, and there's a picture here on the show. Wave 3 of the print run had 1763. Lux and Shogo have rookies in the original run, but Seth B is missing a rookie card and was sent with an updated rookie card logo. So this also happened with another Luis Robert card as well that, and I forget what it was from, one of the throwback ones, I think, and so is there a double print run on some of this stuff?
There's no double print run on this, but I mind you, they're backed up and with processing and everything else. But you would think that they would know what a rookie card is. This is a second-year player. These are apparently not rookies, or are rookies, or.
I just don't understand. Like, leave them as uncorrected errors. Why double print them? Because now there's two versions of the card. You've made extras of some of the cards, so the print run isn't true. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Well, yeah, because if you want to get anal about it, now it affects the secondary market, right? Because now you have two, an unannounced parallel correction, and I mean, first off, it begs the question: does a Topps Now card need a rookie card logo on it anyway? Because it's depicting, it's a daily online card. To me, it doesn't need the rookie card, but that's a separate argument, I suppose. But if you're going to correct them, you've got to announce that now there's this duality, and you've got 2,000 of the rookie card and 2,000 of the non-rookie card, because for people that do place a value and importance on the cost, the worth, the appreciation value of their collection, it's good to know. It's nice to know. And again, we've talked about this in the past. You have guys that were pre-sellers that would get Topps living cards, send them back because that batch was not perfect. What happened to the batch that went back? Theoretically, they need to be destroyed to keep the integrity of the print run. But we don't know, and we will never know. So those print runs, as far as I'm concerned, mean diddly squat. I mean, it's a good guideline. Yeah, there's probably 400 of these out there, but we don't know if they printed 450 of them just in case some got returned. Well, then what happens if none ever got returned? What happens to that additional 50? We're never going to know. But yeah, this is Bush League because it's in your face manipulation of the print run, and it's not being announced that the print run is now doubled. Or
so you've been with Seth Brown. Are you going to collect both?
Yeah. Well, first off, it's a Topps now, so I have to because I've got the entire master run since 2016, so I have to keep the integrity of that in place. But it should be an A and a B card, right? Just like the old days,
Yeah.
0.1, 0.2.
Yeah. I mean, card number 116A had 2,000 copies, and card 116B also had the same amount, or had half of them. Whatever. Just announce it. That way we know.
Real quick, Cloth. There's no Athletic 79 George Brett. Yeah, that's Ben's birth year along with mine, and he needed that to complete the birth year set. So
it was, and just as a follow up, I'm still working on the 78 and 77. My idea at one point was to go as far back as I could financially afford, but at least I wanted to get back to 79. And with Tim's help, and it's an important card of the set because it came from you. For a variety of reasons, it's cool that I have some of your cards in my set, specifically a George Brett.
Yeah.
But just so you know, if you needed an 85 or an 87 McGuire to complete your set, I would help you find a very good one on eBay.
Hey, so real quick about that, my friend, one of my closest friends I've known for a long time. Now, this is the guy I would call if I was in jail in Texas at 3 a.m. I would call him and he would come get me without question. He would show up. I know he'd pick up the phone and you're on the list, but this is the first call I'd make. I have one call. He brought over a duffel bag full of cards on Saturday. Now, he told me that he had some older stuff, and it looks like it's gone missing, unfortunately. But he did have a nice stack of rookie cards in there, an 87 McGuire, actually a couple of those.
He's now my friend, too.
A couple 85 McGuires, 85 Puckett.
Nice.
All very 85 Clemens, a bunch of, and they're in nice shape and well kept. So I'm going to dig through the rest of his bag here this week and see what he has. But that was kind of cool. He's like, I don't know what to do with them. And I said, we'll figure out something to do with them. But so there's more Allen and Ginters. I talked like how I just completed the set. I was so excited. But more Allen and Ginter airs. Our buddy Kraken Wax, he's opening a lot of this stuff. He's doing his breaks. He pulls a double rip card. And it says Nick Senzel, Cincinnati Reds on the back, which is cool. But it's Aquino pictured. Now, I didn't see the front of the card to see if it was Aquino and it said Senzel, or it said the Aquino and it was Senzel. But, hey, they were close. They were close. I mean, just more a comedy of errors this year with the production and from Topps.
Well,
Hey, you're like the Bowman Chrome, Jorge Mateo being jerks in Profar.
But you know what's funny about that is they both were highly touted minor leaguers that suck.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, so you can read between the lines on that one.
Well, and I know that you guys saw it, and I'm trying to pull it up here, but we were sorting our cards that from our break, and I don't know how well it shows. But, for example, this one and the card next to it, there's like a yellow tint on it versus a more like 1970 Topps Heritage release from last year. Silver border on these.
Yeah, and that's not the hot box silver parallel?
I didn't get any of the silver parallels.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that too. There's a slight color variation in some of the stock of the cards.
Now, the Ginter code is back, but I doubt it would be something so small as that. But, yeah, it's just something I noticed. I mean, you see it every now and then, but it's just odd this year.
Well, I know this is a tough subject to Steph to talk about this evening, but the 2020 Major League playoffs are amongst starting. We have the newly expanded to include 16 teams, 8 teams in each league, and the wild card is the best of 3 series. So back on episode 109, which we're on 118, so it wasn't all that long ago. We picked our World Series. Steph had the Dodgers and Twins. He's saying the Rays, but he had Dodgers and Twins. That was on the notes.
Check the notes. I said Dodgers Twins as a.
No, he didn't. He had Dodgers Twins. Ben had the Dodgers Yankees. I had the Braves and Rays.
If I had had to choose a non-bandwagon team, I would choose the Rays.
Okay, well, we know that the Twins are out. They were the 3 seed, but they lost the 6 seed Houston Astros, so they're going to move on. Tampa beat. They were the 1 seed. They beat Toronto, who was the 8 seed, so they've moved on. And I think everybody else is tied up or they're 1-0 in the games. I know San Diego, I think, lost tonight. I know the Marlins won. How the Marlins in the playoffs? And I looked. The Giants were a game away from making the playoffs with a losing record.
Giants had to win 2 games of their final 8 to make the playoffs.
Which is awesome. I do not want to see that awful Giants team in the playoffs. Even as a fan, the Marlins squeezing in the playoffs and the Reds and Braves. But anyway, so we will see what happens. But guys, who do you think could be a breakout star in the playoffs? Somebody that we might not have seen, but that might have some fun. I know you are hoping for Jesus Lizard, as some people call him, Jesus Luzardo. He did not have a great outing.
Okay, but that. I don't want to say it's not his fault, right? Because the player still needs to go out and perform. But when I was looking at the analytics before yesterday's game, and you see what the White Sox do to left-handers.
Yeah, don't they rake?
Oh, they asked Tim Anderson. They're like, "What do you think about going against Luzardo and the fact that he's a phenom?" And he's like, "We lucked out because he's a lefty." And he's like, "No disrespect, the kid's great, but we like lefty pitchers." It seemed like the scene. If you're familiar with The Office, when Stanley talks about Pretzel Day, he goes, well, I like Pretzel Day. It just seemed like Tim Anderson was the same thing. Like, well we like lefties. And they didn't, kill him. I mean, it was only a 4-1 game, but he struggled against them more than they struggled against him. But I'm glad you're seeing, the Rays and some of these more underrated. I don't know about a certain player, more than just a team. I'm glad that some of these teams, Toronto wasn't around for very long, but hey, they were there, and they got some exciting young kids.
Oh, and Bichette wasn't playing, so
he's a bit older, but I would go with Jose Abreu, absolutely raking the ball.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah,
yesterday
I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people forget about him and how hot was at 14, right? He was a big time. And he's done well. He's been an all-star. He's put up big numbers, and everybody just kind of forgets about him. I think it's going to be exciting to see, somebody like that get some run. I think Freddie Freeman finally getting in the, hopefully the Braves can last and he can get some love too. It'd be great to see. I just, like I said, I agree with Ben, and that's weird to say coming out of my mouth, but the teams like the Rays and maybe the Marlins getting some national pub, and Trevor Bauer looked awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say him.
Did you see him drop the chop when he left?
Giolito, what he did to the A's yesterday, I mean, he was just disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just – it's one of those ones as a fan of the team that's getting their ass handed to him. I told my dad, I was like, if I take a step back, I hope that the White Sox win from a perspective of Giolito deserves the team win. As an A's fan, of course, I want my team to win, but, Giolito pitched that type of a game.
Hey, at least it wasn't one and done.
Tatis obviously is going to be the one that gets this opportunity. Your star's getting brighter by the day. Here's your opportunity to steal some fans, and make believers out of, Well,
I think, we all the guys we named were one-time big-name prospects. I mean, Giolito was a big-name prospect. Trevor Bauer, I know he's been on a handful of teams, was a big-time prospect and high draft pick. So I think what's nice is that these guys are actually getting their opportunity to shine, and people might go back and say, man, if you didn't want, you always say, if you don't want it today, you don't want it tomorrow, right? Or if you didn't want it yesterday, you don't want it today. But there's sometimes you go back and go, man, like that guy had a hell of a performance. What like I don't think I have his rookie card, or I don't think I have a card of his, and because of this performance, like I want to go out and I'm going to pick up a card to remember this particular moment, right? Like
Pops now.
like picking up these cards the other day when I had the interviewers here, like I'll know like the day I bought these cards specifically because it's such an important mine. A top style card.
But just as kind of a asterisk or a caveat, yes, if you didn't want it yesterday, you don't want it today, by and large. But when you have a personal connection to it, right? When there's something, I mean, if you're at a restaurant in the Bay Area, let's say you and I go to the Bay Area, right, and we got our boys with us, our kids, right, boy and girl, so let's say we're sitting there as a family, right, and some guy that plays for a team, that we're not fans of walks by and we're like, hey, that's so-and-so. And he takes the time.
Back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we're like, hey, tell us your great stories about the Ron Gant.
Yeah. How you tripped him.
And let's say that it's a guy that you're not necessarily a fan of. And all of a sudden he does kind of goes out of his way and now I'm a fan of you, the guy. And yeah, now the variable changed. Yeah, you didn't want it yesterday, but it's not the hobby saying that the hot new guy to collect today is such and such. That it is a little different between those.
Well, and that's the oddity in that, yes, it's nice that some of these lower tier teams are finally making the playoffs and get their chance in the sun, if you will. Tampa Bay, Toronto even. I mean, yeah, sure, they have super talented young guys on their squad, but they're not like the Yankees or Dodgers or Cubs or Indians even. The Reds, the Padres, the Brewers, not exactly huge major squads. Now, MLB kind of hosts some squads by putting them on at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Seriously, guys? I know you got to squeeze the games in. But
having those games like every hour has been awesome.
One of the games started today at 11 o'clock. But of course, the Yankees game started at 7.
Hey, that's 9 o'clock our time, though, bro. Like, so you got to even think like, and we're not even talking Hawaii time, right? Like, that's what, 5 a.m. there, 4 a.m. there, whatever.
Have them all start at 7.
No, but then you don't have as much. I'd much rather them staggered.
Yeah, but
I'm staggered so I can enjoy baseball all day because we're all working from home.
But see, I had to be in the office today, so I had to watch the A's game on my phone.
Yeah.
My boss came and sat next to me, and we're talking, and she looks at me, and I'm like, "Hey, you want me to call in sick? I could call in sick, or I could sit here and watch it out of my third eye as I'm doing work. Right? It's like I can monitor the game while I'm working at 95%, but yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah, I mean, all of our games are always at 7 p.m. at home, and 3 days in a row. Luckily, I'm home tomorrow, but they're at noon our time. Come on,
I love afternoon baseball.
And I get it. I get it's the junk round just to eliminate, the 8 of the 16 teams, but still, if you lost to the Astros yesterday and today, that was your playoffs.
Before the other teams even played their first game,
you were out.
Yeah, you're gone. It's like, thank you.
Oh, be better.
Thank you for coming.
I don't care.
That's because you're drunk.
It's been nearly 20 years since I've seen a playoff win. The teams in my state have not made the championship round. Not even one. Haven't made a championship round since I was 4. You think I give a shit?
His voice is cracking like a 13-year-old boy.
Hey, and that's when the Vikings missed the kick. That's when the Vikings
into this.
That was when the Vikings missed the kick, right?
Question, Steph.
Gary Anderson, Blair Walsh.
Steph, serious?
I honestly don't give a shit. I expect it. Games late, fourth quarter. I'm expecting a missed field goal. I'm expecting a fucking weird ass.
Hey, listen, you remind. Listen,
I think we broke him.
You sound like
give a shit.
You sound like me as a KU fan in the tournament as KU starts to kind of move along and they get to like the Sweet 16 and they're like a 1 seed. I expect them to lose instantly.
I have a question, Steph. We've hashed it over. We know you can't count to 270, but can you count to 18?
Can you count to 10? Bay Area math over there?
Yeah, I can count to 10. Can you count to 18?
I can. The amount of times that I drop out in the next minute.
The amount of times we have to mute your mic as you go
This
on.
is episode 118.
Let's talk about this keepsake. So at Top Pursuit, I did a thing, needed to up my keepsake game from the old shoebox I've been using for the past 30 plus years. And it's this nice wooden box that has some of his looks like some rookie cards. It's got a nice little latch on it, and there's there's a Marino rookie card, some T206 cards. Is that an old Gretzky card? I can't tell who that. Yeah.
That is Edmonton. You got Marino. You got
it's a Cal Ripken minor league card.
Cal Ripken minor league. You got a Buffalo Sabres there. 2 T206s, a 36 Gaudy, and of course,
89 Griff.
Center in a screw down for some reason to upgrade.
Well, not just at it. Yeah, but do you guys have a special box container that you have for your favorite cards or best cards?
I do have 2 similar-ish boxes that I've repurposed and redrawn and etched, the Twins logo in place of whatever was there beforehand. But I want to get a nice display to put on a bookshelf in place of that. It'll look nicer that way.
How about you, Ben?
Grow. You know how like any IT nerd would tell you, don't label your passwords. Growing up, we had pulled all of the valuable cards. I'm sure I've told this story on here before. The 84 Mattingleys and the 85 Goodens and Saberhagens, and we put them in whatever kind of holder there were back in the 85. But I put them in a box, and it was called valuable cards.
Anything box.
Yeah, anything. I did too. I had to remove the thermos in order to that and the A-Team and Incredible Hulk. I had that in plastic though, not tin. But nowadays I've got a few on my desk, McGuire Superfractor, stuff like that, and then I got a bunch on the wall, on my mantles and stuff like that. But everything else gets bindered.
Yeah, most of mine are in a box back here, or in the binders over there. I don't have anything special right now. All my graded Bretts sit up over here. Anyway, I just thought it was cool. Yeah, there's your list of sorrow. Hey, by the way, someone posted the game 2002 NBA Western Conference Finals Game 7 highlights the other day. I think it was dubbed, and it hurt my soul. I was there. That was soul crushing to be there.
What happened? Where the NBA hosed Golden State?
It's the one where Robert Horry became a superstar.
No, that was Game 6.
Where they rigged it for the Lakers?
And then the Kings, not Golden State. I do like your thing here. The Wolves draft Wesley Johnson at 4 over Cousins, Hayward, or George. Yeah, I don't know what you guys passed on Cousins. We ended up with him at 5, and he was, we didn't do anything with him. Investigation at Yanks Chick, our pal Sue, said, I would like to see an investigative arm of journalism in the hobby. I don't have time. I know Nick DeWante said he's trying, but again, his bandwidth is limited as well. But what do you guys think? What would be the first thing you would have investigated with an investigative arm of the hobby? What would you have them looking into?
Well, I mean, and it's kind of our thing. If we had unlimited money, pack perverts.
I would have them investigate the 18 Allen and Ginter Woodmans.
Of course, sure.
I'd probably have them investigate every individual who thinks that the 1985 is the true rookie card of McGuire.
Make a list.
Because I'd be like, dude, there's no way you guys aren't all kind of like psychos and on psychotic meds and have rap sheets and, you probably eat candy corn for fun and probably like black licorice and, probably post selfies on TikTok as a 41-year-old man and
why gotta
probably ask random people if Allen and Ginter is worth flipping. I mean, that's just I'm just spitballing. In all honesty, if we're investigating, what are you doing? I mean, are we able to kick people out of the hobby? Can we get rid of card trimmers and
So to that, did you see the black licorice story that was in the news?
No.
That's
No,
okay.
He doesn't have time to read a hobby-related book. Why would he know about black licorice stories
Well, one
on some Reddit subthread?
This would have also not as actually major news, but it's on Forbes. But this would have been one of my answers to the infamous Gretzky / Honus Wagner card that was trimmed in the 70s allegedly in some guy's back car, and then it's passed hands and exchanged and was briefly held up as part of a Walmart giveaway that some lady in Kansas City, somewhere in there won. That was put up instantly back for auction. It's just kind of disappeared or for a little bit, and then it reappeared. And then, but man dies from eating too much black licorice.
How
First of
much
all,
is
black licorice is gross. Let's start there.
Apparently, he would eat 2 bags a day, and he was in his 40s or 50s. And he died from eating way too much black licorice.
He probably deserved it because.
But wait. I mean, that's so subjective. I mean, what else was going on in the guy's life?
Well, first of all, he's eating 2 bags of licorice a day. So
is that
probably
all?
not just the.
But is that all he's
It
eating?
was like a construction worker that he'd eat while he was working. He just had.
Yeah, but did he have other medical issues? I mean, come on. I mean, without doing like a full diagnosis, like Dr. Quinn, medicine woman on the guy. I mean, how do we know that he didn't have cancer or something, and he dies of cancer, and they're like, black licorice got him.
By the way, black licorice, if 2020 was a candy, it'd be black licorice.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't hate black licorice quite as much as you, but
Good and tell me the point of a good and plenty. There's good, they're not good, and there's plenty of them because nobody wants to eat them.
they were good. Fun fact: my uncle loves Halloween, right? And this guy was
Holiday, sure.
retired sheriff, straight face, be just like one of those guys that. But every year, his wife buys him a 10-pound box of candy corn right now for him to enjoy. As soon as they become available, buy the 10-pound boxes. And it's like, who the hell does that? I mean, this guy, and again, this is the kind of guy that you'd
Candy
have to look
corn's
at and go,
Shit.
no, they're
Have you
not.
ever taken candy corn and peanuts? It tastes like a payday.
The
Anyway.
only
Why not
thing
just-
worse than a
Why
candy
just not buy a
corn-
payday and eat the payday?
Oh,
The
that's
only
another.
thing worse than candy corn are these.
Those ones are
Those are gross.
honestly, there it is. If we're trying,
This is 2020 if we're doing candy.
Yeah, that's the worst candy ever made. That's
All
not
right,
even
Steph.
candy. That's poison.
Well
all right, we
played.
got to move on. So Ben, we talked about your collecting week. We're going to get to the refund, and I know this is a series of numerous tweets you tweeted out earlier this week. I'm going to read through them. I kind of have some questions for you about this, and as we end the show tonight, it's kind of the major topic, I guess. So I ended up buying 10 Project 2020 cards. I had pre-ordered through one of the big pre-sellers, if not the biggest. Sucks it came to that, but his customer service was atrocious. I get it though. He got buried during the 2-week spike when everyone went nuts. During that time, I imagined a lot of people got caught with their pants down if they bought on debt. Chargebacks killed them, and I wouldn't be surprised if a few had to file bankruptcy as a result. That was not a good look for the seller. For this seller, almost felt like a Ponzi scheme of sorts, having to infuse new buyers' money to fill older purchases. That all happens though is you burying yourself further in leveraged debt because none of it's your money.
You want me to read?
I could have just read it myself.
Go ahead, read it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When the bank American Express comes calling, you are forced to cancel orders through Tops, and you can't fill any orders, old or new, thus creating a ripple effect of chaos and pissed off customers, especially when the turnaround time for current cards is 7 to 10 days direct. Having his eBay account shut down didn't help, nor did the insane amount of unforeseen chargebacks. While some of us saw it coming as there was no way it would sustain at that rate. Where are the buyers if everyone was a seller? The Project 2020 saga will go down as a tough lesson for some in the hobby. The underlying lesson will be how important communication is when it comes to customer service. He's pissed off a lot of people, myself included, having to threaten legal action and further exposure when a simple call/text/DM would have sufficed to a large degree. I hope everyone learns a lesson from this, whether you are directly or indirectly involved, because boy, are there a million lessons to be learned.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, and I remember seeing tweets from this reseller, or this, and it was like, hey, I went back and bought 20 more short Griffies today, 5 minutes before it ended. And it was like
screenshot of his $20,000 purchase order.
Yeah, and
day.
it's like, that is not sustainable whatsoever. And you look back and maybe, hey, listen, I'll pre-order 50 a day. Right, even though there are 2 cards at a time every day, so your average was at 20 cards a week, or 10 cards a week, right? 10 cards a week, you're talking 40 cards a month, and hundreds of cards at a time. That's a lot of money to output, and then there was a delay in shipping and all this. So, what was the resolution to all this after you finally got contact with the reseller, and what did that look like?
Yeah, no, I reached out to him multiple times over the course of a few weeks, and every time I would mention it publicly, I would have an onslaught of some of our listeners, as well as other Twitter friends and things, that would hit me up and say, "Hey, what's going on with this person?" Because we've endorsed him as a friend and a seller here on our podcast, especially early on. If you go back and listen to some of the first few dozen episodes.
But it's not Brent and Becca, by the way. Not Brent and Becca.
Yes, not Brent and Becca, and it's not Topps Living Stat. Most people probably know who we're talking about, but consider the guy a hobby friend at the very least. And it's getting frustrating because he wouldn't respond. Well, finally, a couple weeks ago, he's like, "Hey, I'll have a package out for you tomorrow. Sorry, had some issues. I'm only good through a certain card number." So I had bought 10 cards from him. At that, it's what he owed me, 10 cards that I had bought at $16 a piece from him, which was the deal if you bought at least 3 or more cards. And so I was like, cool. So what you're telling me right now is you're going to send me 6 of the 10 cards you owe me based on what you're saying you have. These are your words. Never responded. 2 weeks go by, still nothing in hand. So I sent him a couple text messages. Couple things on Facebook, couple Twitter DMs. He hasn't been active on Twitter in well over a month now. And finally I was like, you know what, dude? Yeah, we've got the podcast. We've got followers. I'm just getting to the point where I'm ready to blast you myself. I even sent him a meme somebody had created of a little kid sitting on the couch saying, just waiting for my order from this guy, like this. And I was like, if I don't hear from you, at least hear from you by tomorrow, I'm gonna have to get my lawyer involved. And I sent him a PayPal request for the amount of money that I had given him. And 20 minutes later, he gave me the PayPal money back. And then I was luckily able to go on eBay and buy all 10 cards for right at the same price because of the fact that they went down in value since. But it's sad. And he apologized in a text. He got buried. Like I said, I think right now it's just kind of like a Ponzi scheme. Right now, he needs new buyers to infuse money. It would not surprise me if he's not going on eBay as a buyer, buying cards to fill orders for people that have bought from him.
Well, my whole question with this is that he bought all these cards, right? I just think it's his process of turning around and getting the cards back out to everybody, right? Because if he bought the cards, they should obviously be coming to him. I just think he doesn't have a process from what I've seen. Organization could be key in this and getting him set up and shipped back out. So,
but here's one thing though. Hypothetically, he buys this stuff on his American Express card, right? He's spending tens of thousands of dollars at one point. We know this because he put the screenshots out there for everybody, and then he gets all of these chargebacks in short order. it's quite possible that American Express cut him off, and therefore his Topps orders never got filled because it potentially didn't go through. So Topps never gave him the cards. I don't know this. I'm just speculating. Hypothetical. If that's the case, then he can't fill Ben's orders because he doesn't have the cards, because he was never able to fully purchase them through Topps. So what he's doing now is he's selling APs and one-of-ones that he might get, he's selling them through a third party in order to probably run uphill. And the shit's sliding downhill faster than it, because he created his own website and people are going through that too to get PayPal chargebacks. As soon as I put that out on Twitter the other day, I got no less than 30 DMs from people who said, tell me what's going on because I bought from him too.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad that, it was going so well, went so wrong. And I think early on when this all started taking off, the first week I bought from a reseller that I trust, and I got the first Brett card, number 12, I think, or 11 it was. It's right here, actually. Yeah, number 11, this guy here. But after that, I just went to Topps directly and started paying the $20 a card because use the free shipping. I'll get it when I get it, because getting it directly from the source for an additional $4 or $5 a card, yeah, I'm going to spend more money. But at the same time, if I had an issue, I was going back to the manufacturer of the card, and hopefully they'd be able to resolve it or give me another card. And I knew that there'd be some recourse buying it directly from them, so that peace of mind was a little better. Not like my Topps Living and my Topps Now, whenever I pick those up, those are all from resellers because the price is so much better. And I have a trusted one that does good business this way. And I actually talked to him this week, and he's not doing Topps Now anymore because they're just dumping so much out from the Topps. He's only doing the Living at this point. So,
I've been on record as saying Project 2020 is an unmitigated disaster for a number of reasons. It's going to be a black eye on Topps. Some of the artists have been very vocal negatively. And I mean, you could sell this Project 2020 as a comedy, as a thriller, as a drama, as a horror story, as a documentary, as a PSA after school special, all of the above. Wrapped up in one thing. Right now, if you want to go out and get a Vitis Nolan Ryan, there's a seller out there that has them for sale for $4 free shipping. $4 free shipping. That was a $20 card when it sold, and you're selling it at a negative 5x multiplier. The amount of absurdity, right? I've been buying from Topps as well for the last couple of cards. I will be doing that the rest of the way out for both Henderson and McGuire. And right now their turnaround time is about 10 days. So good for them. They got caught up.
Sure.
Well, no, and I was at the LCS bin. They have Topps Project 20 cards that are $10 or 2 for $15, and stacks of them.
Yeah.
Stacks and stacks. So if
It's
there's any ones you're looking for, let me know. I can go and see if I can pick them up. So.
I've got all the ones. I mean, the only one I'm considering buying that's outside of my PC is the Keith Shore Ken Griffey, because we've talked so much smack about it, and it's such a.
I want to see if I can get one for $1.
It's the icon of the. I thought about buying the Nolan Ryan for $4 because why not? It's $4.
It's the junk wax version of Project 2020.
Yeah, it's worth having one just because it's kind of
fits the time frame when the card was created, right?
It's kind of funny, isn't it? And Project 2020, these are solid cards. They are good-looking cards. Depending on which one you choose to buy, it definitely is showing that most of these artists do not have the creativity to stick with this long term. They were 2 or 3 cards deep, and then you could see that they lost their creativity.
And then some other ones have gone crazy. Like
I got a gorgeous, was it not JK5? I forget which one I got the other day, McGuire. Beautiful card as a standalone. Even used a photo image. Is that
the one with the cape?
No, it's the other one where it's got McGuire. It has McGuire wrapped around the bottom, like right around his waist, but it's an actual photo. You're thinking of the JK5, which I recently got as well. And this card is awesome as a standalone, but it's not even the same image. You literally used an image on the card and did your art around it. Damn it, just use the image from the 87. If I line all of these 20 cards up next to an 87 Topps, am I not supposed to see the same thing just with 20 different reimaginations? You got that jackass old man Allen that's got... He's creating his own card set. What's that got to do? Yeah, look at that on your left hand. That's got nothing to do with a 75 Brett. Doesn't mean it's not a cool image of Brett. Doesn't mean it's not a cool card. But if I've got a 1975 Brett with 20 Project 2020 cards from 20 different artists, is it not supposed to look the same? All 21 of them?
This one even has like the picture, but it's just totally different. These
It's
two are
cool.
the ones
It's
that
got the
stand out.
picture.
Yeah, these ones stand out the most compared to all the rest of them that I have here in front of me. So
It's just, yeah, the McGuire's got one that's
is a stack.
sideways. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I might go back and buy a couple of the better looking ones down the road that, you know, when it's not such a financial burden. You know, and you know, there might be something good that comes out of this. I know we didn't mention it, but there is a lawsuit attached to one of the Dwight Gooden cards. There is a lawsuit that
which one's that?
Paul Lesko tweeted about it on the 4th of September. If you want to go back and check out his timeline, I forget which one it is. I think it might be the Fucci. But basically, a guy who's visually impaired went to Topps' website.
Mhm.
He used that card in the lawsuit, so it's not really directly related to that card per se. But that is the card in question. He's a Mets fan and wanted to add that to his collection along with a few other items, which are mentioned in the lawsuit. And he was having difficulty with their website. And he said that there are other retailers that he uses their website and is able to fluidly use it despite being visually impaired because they offer different ways, probably an audio option.
Mhm.
And basically he's saying that the Topps website is not user-friendly to those that are visually impaired. I asked Paul, he's got a pretty good case, right? And Paul's like, well, this is kind of like a newer lawsuit. And so it's not really established in the courts yet. He's like, odds are probably. Personally, this is just Ben talking now, not Paul's words. I don't really see what the end game is here. It's not like I can't see him getting a big cash payout, but Paul's basic thought at the end, you know, that he said to me in private was, if he wins, it's going to force Topps to create new things with their website. And because their website is such a crap heap anyway,
Yeah, I was going to say, it's hard for anybody to use it.
It can't
It's
hurt,
going to benefit
right?
all collectors in the long run if this guy wins. And just basically reading through what his argument is versus what their counter argument is going to be, I really don't see how he doesn't win. But again, it does involve Project 2020 just because it was a card that he was looking to buy. So
Right.
Paul Lesko now needs it because it's attached to a lawsuit. So
Well, and that's the thing. You know, what he was alleging was, one, he can't use a mouse apparently. But sometimes you hover over an image on a website, it'll have that like alternate text saying, "Man, something something news event, something something this happened." Apparently, Topps doesn't have that, so he couldn't read that. Hey, this is actually George Brett 75 Topps by this guy. And his claim is that, I can't see that, so I don't know if that's what I want. I'm not going to purchase it. You're not in compliance with the American Disabilities Act. And he might have a case.
he should have a case.
should
It's a
have
pretty
a case.
strong
He
case
should.
if you read it.
But the thing is, if you look up the guy's name and search American Disabilities Act, this is all that it's seemingly all he does. He sues different
Oh, he's
websites
like the
that they don't.
yeah, he's like the jackass here in Sacramento, that lawyer that went around suing a bunch of places because he couldn't use his wheelchair in a place. And
Yeah,
funny enough, he sued a bar in Folsom where I grew up because he couldn't. It wasn't wheelchair friendly. But the funny thing is, the owner of the bar also was in a wheelchair and worked there daily for years.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that per se. It's just, it seems, I don't want to say
Petty?
Petty. It would be the best word there. No, I wasn't going to say predatory. He's just going to every single website he can and
That
trying
too.
to find what
It's-
not. It's just petty.
And
If you have 37 of them, that's predatory. That's not coincidental.
well, the same guy in the wheelchair got mad at this jump house thing for kids because he couldn't take his wheelchair on the bounce house and bounce like everyone else.
There was a guy.
I'm serious. The place closed versus going through the lawsuit of this guy. They closed the business.
When I owned my landscaping company, we had a Jack Boo who came onto our property uninvited. It's private property.
Sure.
It was not open to the public, and this was 20 years ago. This is before California had a lot of favorable laws to the disabled and the handicapped. This is before all the laws where the restaurants and our public businesses had to have handicapped accessible restrooms and stuff. And because we were working out of an office trailer and we had metal stairs that led into it, he threatened a lawsuit. He's like, well, you can't let me in. And we literally looked down our stairs with due respect. And we said, you weren't invited. This is private property. We are not open to the public. So because it's on private property, not open to the public, the laws as they currently read do not apply here. You're not invited. We literally have the right to tell you to get off of our private property. And that was as far as that conversation went. But you have people like Tim mentioned. I don't know if it's the same guy that had like 37 active lawsuits at one time against places that weren't restroom compliant. Because there was a guy here in Northern California that was doing that. He was just going around to every place he could. And if he couldn't get his wheelchair into the restroom, lawsuit. And it's like, that's a great way to live your life, man. Especially if they're trying.
Yep, guys. Any final things before we head? This has been a Chronicles version of the show tonight. Just a hodgepodge of topics.
I love it.
So,
some were good, some weren't as good.
Hey,
just like Chronicles.
Hey, Ben, that lawyer's name is Scott Johnson, and I just kind of Googled it. It says attorney Scott Johnson, known for filing thousands of ADA complaint lawsuits charged with tax fraud. This goes back to May of last year.
So he got all his money and never claimed it.
I do have two minor ones to share right at the end here. We'd be kind of remiss to not mention these. Passing of the Negro Leagues player Jim Robinson. Apparently played for the Kansas City Monarchs and a few other teams. Nice Manhattan boy. I'm sure Nick's probably talked to him a couple times. He just passed away today. And then, we kind of led the show off talking about, at least the Hobby Talk section, talking about Alex Gordon and how he has a certain lore in baseball card history. Jay Johnstone just passed away yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And if you're going to mention 84 Fleer, this is one of the cards that everyone's going to mention.
Yep. With
the Budweiser umbrella cap.
Yeah, he had a handful of different cards that had some great images on them. And I'm remiss I didn't add those to the notes earlier. So thanks, Steph, for catching those.
Of course.
Definitely. And, it's sad, but thanks, Cloth. It says the show's much better than last night's debate. You know what? I stayed off Twitter during that time frame. I stayed away from the TV. I just kind of turned all electronics off in my house.
I mute all of the candidates. I mute all of the major.
Listen,
just two things real quick on the debate. I have a video on my phone of my 5-year-old and 2-year-old. He was 5 at the time, arguing in the living room, and they're just yelling back and forth. You're a baby. You're a baby. And then the older one flops on the floor. I want my mom. And I'm just like watching the debate last night. I'm like, I have this on my phone already. And I put that on Facebook. And it was like, it was so funny. And Bentley looks at me, and now he's 6. And he looks at me and he goes, Dad, why are you watching two old people argue? And I'm like, Bentley, come on. It's kind of like,
it takes back to South Park.
Yeah, this is like self-reflection. I'm learning here as an old curmudgeon how to yell at other old curmudgeons.
Yeah, our choices are between a douche and a turd sandwich.
Yeah, I can't believe that was free. That was great entertainment. I could turn off my Netflix and save $16 a month if they put that on every night.
By the way, they do have Topps Now cards of that. So if you want to
go get those, yeah,
three-part set.
Oh, come on. And then it's probably gonna have a print run of like 70,000, and they'll be selling for $400
I did think
tomorrow.
about, anyway. I just hope they don't have any of those in update. Let's please God, let's not do that. Any more final thoughts before we head out tonight from our Chronicles episode?
Yeah, we broke Steph tonight. That was pretty fun.
We did. That was pretty neat.
I had a good rant, but it's legit. You could not surprise me any less. And I do like that someone from the Central Bureau is chiming in here, adding that thanks for doing the pod. Listen to it every weekend for the last year and a half. Really enjoy the show. Work at 5 a.m. Central, so live is never an option. But on vacation this week.
What's up, Ryan?
1, enjoy your vacation. 2, I know that grind 5, 6, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Is it 5, 6, or 8? Which
depends on the day. Especially after staying up to midnight. But
and you know what we did miss, guys, and we'll probably have to save it for next week if we want to get into it. Maybe Steph can't get into it, but it was your boy Brian Gray calling out your employer.
I didn't want to give him any love this week. So.
Indeed. I mean...
I almost said something earlier when you said something about people working out of the back of their van in the 70s or back of their trunk. I was like, oh, Brian Gray, I know him.
Right.
Yeah.
Love BG, but he's very self-serving.
Yeah. No.
Just call in. Remember, live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific
10 Central.
On YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. Always follow Ben at R Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Swings. You always follow me at Big Shep 79. Please share your hobby stories, great polls, and send your questions our way. Keep collecting. We'll see you next week.